Now it's time for us to rev it up. We're going to talk about Synchro Monsters. One of the coolest things about Synchro Monsters was the variety. There were so many different Synchro Monsters, but what they all had in common was that they needed a tuner monster to get yourself started. And Junk Synchron was one of my favorites because it allowed you to summon it to the field using that all-important normal summon, and then immediately get a monster back from the graveyard, which you could then tune together with Junk Synchron to make a Synchro Monster.
And yeah, I mean, it was just so exciting. I remember back in the day looking at these first white monsters and just figuring out what they were, because for a long time we were just using, and it was called the fusion deck, not the extra deck, you know, because there were only fusions out. And then obviously Synchros became a threat to be reckoned, and duelists were trying things off, while at the start cards like Goyo Guardians were just amazing, and you know, duelists were just making things a little more easy. Throughout the years of synchro summoning, I think they found out a lot of amazing combos, and one that is showcasing here is the synergy that happened between Colossal Fighter and Armory Arm, which was actually a way to end the duel just in one turn. Whenever your opponent controlled at least a monster with 1900 attack, you would equip the Armory Arm to your opponent monster and then continuously crush the Colossal Fighter and deal 2800 to them every time. So this just shows you how our duelists throughout the years have been creative, and just as new monsters, just as new extra deck monsters are released, they still find ways to perform at the highest level.
So now we're going to get into one of my favorite duelists from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's, and that's Crow and his Blackwing deck. And it was all made possible because of this card, Black Whirlwind. When you summoned your higher power Blackwing monsters, you were allowed to go and search out a different Blackwing monster with a little bit less attack from your deck. And that was always amazing because two of the greatest Blackwings, Gale the Whirlwind and Kalut, allowed you to make even more plays after you'd summoned your first Blackwing monster. Kalut allowing you to pump up the attack points of your Blackwings, and Gale allowing you to reduce the attack power of your opponent's monsters, and it was a tuner as well, which allowed you into those synchro plays. But then the deck evolved even further.
Yeah, because I do like making, you know, my synchro plays from the field, but you know what's even cooler? Making synchros out of the graveyard? And how could you do that? Well, this little fella right here, Blackwing Vayu, was actually why you could do that. Although you couldn't use it as a tuner while on the field, you could actually banish it alongside another Blackwing monster from the graveyard to special summon a synchro. That was absolutely incredible. It was a unique card that, although, you know, the name of the anime character was Crow, was the reason why people started using Diddy Crow as a way to actually counter the deck. But if you're familiar with Time Wizard 2010, this is just an incredible card. It is my go-to deck personally. I love, you know, playing with Vayu, with Raikou, Hamster, you know, a lot of these ways to just send cards to the graveyard. And I think it's actually an interesting matchup where you face off against Blackwing. And I can tell you my experience is this, because Blackwing is usually played by Alberto, but I think we all know how that ends.
So now we're moving on to another one of my favorite 5D's decks, and that all revolves around this one cute little plant. It is Dandelion. There were many different decks that have used Dandelion over the years, but one of the first ones was using Debris Dragon and Quick Draw Synchron.
It's such a unique deck, and although obviously Synchro Summoning was the main feature from back in the day, you would still find different ways of summoning your monsters, and sometimes you take a look at cards and you think, yeah, this is a really good card, and that is the case for Debris, for Quick Draw, and for Drill. But sometimes there is something missing. There is just that one card that makes it all possible, and it is Dandelion. This card was amazing. It just combos off so well, both with quick throw, allowing you to just get so much advantage and steal every turn with drill, get back a card that you could discard and get more and more value. And at the same time, this is Debris plus Dandy. I think this is such feared by everyone who is playing Time Wizard 2010. These cards turn into Black Rose Dragon, clearing the whole field. Darkhold plus Heavy Storm right there, and you still get the tokens since Dandy is a mandatory effect and that resolves first, so that's absolutely incredible card. And this card has been played a lot later on, and unfortunately we gotta say nowadays it is forbidden, so just come to show how this innocent plan card can be a threat.